Hey, welcome to Diaries of Badass Bosses, the podcast series that takes a deep dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs and businesses who are shaking things up in their industry. I'm Penny.
And I'm Tigz. And in this series, we'll explore the stories of people who have defied the odds, taken risks, and forged their own paths to success. We'll hear from founders who have turned their ideas into thriving businesses, as well as CEOs who have transformed their organizations and taken them to new heights.
So exciting. We're going to talk about what it means to be a badass boss, including the challenges, the rewards, and the importance of resilience and adaptability. We're going to hear their stories, insights, advice for anyone looking to make their mark in the world of business, no matter what size.
Want a weekly dose of badass boss energy? Join us every Wednesday on all major podcasting platforms.
See you there. Well, welcome to the Diaries of Badass Bosses, a podcast series that's going to showcase the stories of inspiring entrepreneurs and business owners who've carved their own paths to success. In this episode, I'm delighted that we are joined by the wonderful Susie Bewell and Faye Silver of Raymond James Hitchin. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So together, Faye and Susie bring a wealth of experience to the expertise to the world of wealth management. We're going to focus on what is it about building long-lasting relationships with your clients and what commitment you have to delivering exceptional results. You are very well known in Hertfordshire, and I can't wait to find out a little bit more, get under the skin of each of you and the business itself as well. We're going to be exploring your background and find out what the journey it's taken to get to where you are today, because I know it's been an exciting one and there's so much more to come. So let's get on with it.
Yeah,
welcome.
Not feeling nervous at all. Wipes hands.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your background individually, like how you got started in wealth management and finance?
Well, I think you should start with the pioneer.
Yes,
over here.
Go for it, Susie.
Yeah. So I came into financial services because I worked with my dad. He was an IFA, came into the industry in the 80s, and post university he sort of persuaded me. Well, he didn't persuade me for a number of years. I went off and helped run a bar and did other things and sailed around the Mediterranean and that sort of stuff first. But then he gradually he sort of teased me in and got me going. And I think aside from realising that if I was in my own business, in fact, he literally said you could have whatever holidays that you want, whereas obviously at the bar they were a bit fussy about that, which I think might have been the deciding factor. But actually, as you get to know clients and as you get to know how the business worked, I could just see, there was a real path for growth there and an opportunity. Maybe my 20-something-year-old self wouldn't have phrased it like that, but it seemed a better career path than just running the bar.
Fantastic. Yeah. And how about you, Faye?
Well, I joined because Susie told me I had to go and work for her.
I see a trend here in the Bewell family.
So she got fished in, I got roped in. So basically, I'd gone to university late. I did 5 years in a pensions and life assurance company, decided that wasn't for me, then went to university, came out of university and did recruitment for about 5 years. But then I had my first daughter and decided that I didn't want the work hard, play hard environment that recruitment was in those days, in the early noughties. So Susie said, "Oh, you best come and work for me then." And I forged a good deal.
Good for you. Like to hear it.
Yeah, so there you go. And the rest is history. Absolutely.
Yeah. And give us a bit of background on how you know each other, because obviously you knew each other before you started working together.
We did. So I've grown up most of my life in Letchworth. But Faye came to Letchworth just before we went into the sixth form, and so through sort of family connections, actually church group connections.
This is what shocked everybody.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
So the summer before we started A levels, Faye moved up from Worthing, and I think we were one of the first people that
Yeah,
you met?
Yeah, you were. I'd already been to the sixth form, like trial session, like previously in the July before term splits up. But I just sat in the back and didn't speak to anybody. But then. Well, actually, I'd come from Worthing, which I thought was pretty tough and pretty cool. And here I am in Letchworth. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then we went to this pool party. And obviously, I come from a seaside town. When somebody says it's a pool party, you expect people to be swimming. So we turned up. My sister and I turned up, stripped off into our bikinis, and just went diving in. This pool was freezing cold, full of leaves.
None of the rest of us.
I don't think it hadn't been swimming for a very, very long time. I think we pretty much shocked everybody that was there. And Susie's words were, "She's nuts. She'll do as a friend."
And the rest is history.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I have to say, actually, question I definitely want to ask you is, I'm really fortunate that I get to work with my bestie every single day. And I really am so grateful for that. Tell me about it. Like, tell me about what it's like working together, like with your best friend, because to me, it's like the best thing ever. So,
yeah, it is. It's a real privilege to do what we do. We work together. We work in an industry that we really love. We work in the town that we really love, and we're a big part of the community. So I think we take a lot of pride in what we do, but. We are asked this a lot when I stepped up into the directorship role, and everyone's going, "Don't do this with your best friend. It's going to be carnage. You'll argue all the time." We've never had a crossword. We always seem to work it out. And yeah, we're asked many times how it works. But I couldn't give you the magic formula. It just does.
I mean, I think we, different personalities, definitely.
Yeah.
There are different things that we're better or worse at, and I think we've just naturally found those, roles that I'll take on, and roles that Faye will take on, and just
and we always have a laugh, though. I think that's important. Doesn't matter how grumpy one of us might turn up in the morning.
It's quite grumpy the other day.
But we can always make each other laugh, and I think that's important as well.
Yeah, you definitely complement each other for sure, and I think that's the beauty of probably our relationship as well. In the same way, I kind of see that similarity. So yeah.
When we were shooting the other day, I kept saying, could you just have a look at each other? And every time they looked at each other, both of them would crack up laughing. It was amazing.
It was so funny. It was just so funny. I always used to say we were either like the Anton Deck of wealth management or the French and Saunders. It depends on which way we're going. Or the Eddie and Patsy. It depends on the day.
Oh, definitely. Yes. I mean, I think bloopers for Connor is going to be a really easy one for both Tigz, I, and Faye and Susie, because I think the four of us together as well is probably carnage as well in itself. So
luckily there's not Prosecco.
Next time I'll do that.
All right. We'll come back then.
So what inspired you to join Raymond James? Because obviously I understand it's actually an American business originally.
Yeah, the parent company is originally from near Tampa, St. Petersburg in Florida on the Gulf side, so glorious place to visit.
Beautiful.
We've been able to go over a few times now. If I'm completely honest, there wasn't a lot of due diligence that went into it. They had not long come across to the UK. They'd been in the UK about 6 months at that point. We were with another stockbroking firm at the time, and it was a couple of years into the fall of markets. So markets had peaked in 2000, and by late 2001, there were cracks appearing in the firm that we were working under, and so we were looking for another opportunity really. And when they came along, I think they were. They were clear about what they wanted to do, and obviously there was a lot of history, back then. But I can't say that we flew over to Florida to check them out and know what was going on. I think we would now.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
And you do get to go out there relatively often, right? You've been.
Yes,
I think it's like really why we joined is not. It could have been anybody at the time. Susie and her dad needed to move over to something new. I think it's what Raymond James have been doing since then, and how they've progressed and helped us move. I think the partner, what they deliver to us, just keeps getting better and better year on year.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, because it would have been easy for us to have jumped ship again. Lots of people do, but we've been there, it's 21 years now, and I think I couldn't imagine us being within a different firm, because they've just grown in the same way as we see our business growing, and we complement each other really well.
And what do we mean by wealth management, just to be really clear?
Essentially,
it's
What is wealth management?
We always start with, where are you now? So, getting clients to understand what savings they've got, what they might have accumulated in terms of other assets, pensions, and, and other investments over time, what might be coming in the future in terms of looking ahead, and actually what they want to do. So usually it's getting down to practical, well, let's just sort everything out so that we know where we are, and then clients are often working towards something. It might be a long way in the future in terms of retirement in 20-30 years. It might be retirement in 5 years. It might be helping their kids doing something else. So I think a lot of time it's about just giving clients clarity, giving them peace of mind of not worrying about what's going on in terms of their finances, because they know that we're looking after it, and they know, and they know where they are. I think that knowledge is power, is a definite.
Absolutely.
So much. And I think it's all ages. I think that's maybe sometimes the kind of misconception is that, oh no, it's for when you're a lot older and you're wiser and you've got a plan, what you're going to do for your retirement. But actually, this needs to be taught in school. I didn't have this. I didn't have money management. And actually I ended up with a couple of loans and things like that, and really got in a bit of a mess, actually. So I think it's more important now that the youngest generations are actually learning about this financial planning and getting ahead of it already.
Yeah, we are seeing it a little bit more in schools, but you're right, there is a big misconception about wealth management, and I think the term wealth doesn't help. People assume that you've already got to be a millionaire before you can come and see us, but that's not what it means. Wealth is it's apportionate to the person, so your idea of wealth to the next person's idea of wealth can be completely different.
Absolutely.
So it's just remembering that, and actually everyone's got to start somewhere. So I think it's work. The earlier you can be smart with how you're investing and what you're doing and planning, then the more successful you'll be, for sure. But it's never too late.
So you have a team, obviously, at Raymond James Hitchin. What do you think are the most important qualities that you've sort of instilled in your team to make sure that you're getting the most success for your clients?
I think the family is is the word that sums it up pretty well. Partly because there's been a lot of family and friends, organic growth in terms of, obviously me working with Dad, Faye coming along, other members of the team who are, friends,
We've
relations,
known them for a while,
So I think those are natural connections that are there. But I think, we've never, been the bosses and, that separate in that way. Obviously, technically we are, I guess, but I think we work and toil just as hard as anyone else. It's probably only in the recent last 5 years or so that other members of the team have become more and more senior and done more things that have taken that from us.
Definitely has been a lot of organic growth in the business. And we're also relatively flexible. We're realistic in the fact that good talent doesn't mean that somebody needs to work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. I was a working mum, and Susie gave me the opportunity to work part-time, and I grew that role and responsibility as my kids grew, and I got more time to do that. So that's worked well, because obviously now we're here, so we can see that potential in others, and I think that's important. it's having a good work-life balance, being flexible. So that it's...
A few of the team have sort of come after having to, just like Faye, but come back into the workplace sometimes after, a long time of not working. And I think we've just tried to make that as easy as possible, and sometimes given them the confidence that actually you are doing really well, and you are, there's so much more potential in terms of what you can do. So I guess that's what we've tried to foster without really thinking about it.
Without thinking about it, absolutely.
And there's a strong female presence within your team as well, which, what is that like for you in the finance industry, being leaders and like championing women in finance?
It's very important to us.
Really important.
I think we actually just have been to an awards ceremony, and I've not been to a room so full of middle-aged white dudes.
Yeah.
For such a long time.
And ironically, we were there with Raymond James. We were up for a Diversity and Inclusion Award. Ooh. It was the only one in the category of, I felt like hundreds
only nod really
of
that
awards.
they threw towards that.
Yeah.
And it was just a very good reminder that actually this is an industry that can be very impenetrable and self-congratulatory. And that is not what we want to do. So I think that's been something that we've really tried to work on for a long time.
And you really are recognised as well within the wider Raymond James family for that. I've actually had the pleasure, for my listeners, I actually do work with beautiful Faye and Susie. I'm very fortunate to do so. But what I have noticed, in the short time that we have worked together, is how well you're recognised for putting that at the forefront of this industry and encouraging others to follow suit. So I think it's something you should be really proud of. So
it's a relatively new thing for us, because obviously when it was Susie and Rob, it wasn't necessarily one of our main objectives, was it? But obviously when now it's just the two of us, it became very clear very quickly how unusual we are in our industry. And again, we get really great support from Raymond James as well to promote that through the Women's Advisory Network, and you with the Pride Network, which has just started as well. So that they are really embracing this diversity and inclusion concept, which you don't really see across the board.
No. How do you approach your client relationships? What do you think is important for sustaining long-term relationships with your clients? Because some of them have been with you for a long time.
I think being authentic, I think, is really important. It's making getting rid of all of the difficult, the long words, and making it jargon free so it's understandable. I think that's really important. But I think being authentic is really important. So we're not going to work. Our personalities are not going to work for everybody, but we try and make the environment where they come into friendly, welcoming. It's not a daunting, prospect coming up well, we have 2 flights of stairs at the moment. That's about to change. But coming up the stairs, when someone's made the decision to come and talk to somebody about their finances, it's a big step. And what we don't want to do is make them feel intimidated and uncomfortable. So we try and sort of get rid of all of those barriers.
And it is really comfortable walking in. I mean, because obviously we also work together, and so I had my
theme here.
It's a family.
So my first visit to your offices wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of months ago, but I walked in and we'd obviously met because you run a Business Buzz in Hitchin as well, so very connected in the local community. And I remember walking up and being greeted at literally open the door, it's so lovely to see everyone, says hello. I think
Jen was the first one I saw, bless her, straight away. Cup of coffee, that's it. Good girl.
And I think someone's pet dog was in for the office for the day, so I got to have cuddles with the pooch, and it was amazing. So you definitely breed that within your community, and it's wonderful.
And I think as we say, finance seems complicated and difficult for many people, and they need to trust us. So many people actually are often referred to us. Obviously, people do find us through different marketing and online and so on. But a lot of the time, find us either by being directly referred by someone, recommended by someone, or seeing the testimonials and that sort of things that we've got on, and hopefully that the lovely things that clients say shows that actually we are normal. I mean, we're just a couple of girls who live in Hitchin running a business.
But what I will say, and it's a testament to you both. You really do put yourselves out there. You literally, every week, every month, you not only support a lot of networking groups and a lot of small businesses, big businesses, but you also do a lot of sponsorship. And I absolutely applaud you for that, because I don't think there's anything that I don't necessarily see your name on in Hitchin, but that's in the nicest possible way. It's wonderful. So can you tell me a little bit about some of the people that you sponsor and support?
Yeah, well, first of all, if we think it's important, we live in a great town and we're part of a really lovely community. So the fact that they support us, it's lovely to be able to give back. That's really important. So we don't do it for you to see our name everywhere.
Helps though.
Cool. All that is sometimes quite cool. But again, it takes us back to the female empowerment part of what we were talking about, Susie and I, being female leaders in an industry which is not known for having female wealth managers or female business leaders. So we love sport. Well, Susie definitely loves sport. I sort of sit on the side and try and understand what's going on. But Hitchin has an incredible women's rugby team, and again, female rugby, female sport in that field is unusual. So it seemed like a perfect partnership, really, to work with them. And we're in our fifth or sixth year now, sponsoring Hitchin ladies and girls.
Yeah,
amazing.
Which is really good. That's been a fantastic partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're such a community club as well. So I think that's been really great to be able to help them grow that. And as
we've seen them win the league and all sorts.
Yeah, it's not just the first team, as it were, but also they use the funds to help bring girls through and get more younger people involved in that, because it's a great sport to be involved in. Too old to do it myself.
I know. I'm a big rugby fan, and I am absolutely loving seeing that support for female sport right now. It is just so encouraging, and something that I think you guys are at the forefront of in our local area. So thank you for everything you do. It is very much appreciated. So going back to the team, how do you find encouraging people, I suppose, into the finance world? Because you've already mentioned, it obviously does feel somewhat male dominated. It could also feel somewhat daunting. What is it for you that you're able to do to kind of encourage people to come in to this industry and give them, if they knew the support they were going to get, what is it that's
question.
Going to help people kind of go, actually, I can do this?
I always think if I can do it, anyone can do it, right? That's the thing. Like Susie said, we're just two girls from Hitchin, and this is what we do. Yeah. And I think that's it. We're authentic. We're not. And I think if other people can see that, and they can see actually that I've managed to do this, and I'm a mum, and I've got two teenage daughters now, but I've been able to do that and have a career and run a business, then why couldn't anyone else do it? And I think the more we tell our story, the more people will be able to hear and understand that it is possible.
And actually, as an industry, it's one that can be really flexible. Yeah. You don't have to work 9 to 5. You can, work around life a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And actually, to be a good financial advisor, you have to be able to talk to people and understand, what their hopes and dreams are in a way. But as we said before, that they're comfortable talking to you. Yeah. So actually... To be fair, women are much better. Often.
Yes.
Not completely much better. But,
Sorry, Connor.
But I think we are more covered. We had a joke that we were joking the other day, because actually Faye's much better at really getting to the well, I'm like, I think this is going on, but I didn't want to ask, and she's like, next time I'll find out.
Yeah, or if I've seen a client that Susie would normally see, but Susie wouldn't be able to meet them for that reason, so I'd go in and step in, and I'd come out and go, you never told me that they did that. She goes, well, how would I know? So,
Some girls don't ask
We've all got skills. Yeah. Collector of Mulberry handbags.
Yes.
You and me both.
Exactly.
And me.
So, again, it comes down to our partnership and how that works and skill sets. And
I think that's been one of the good things with Raymond James, that that's a real aim for them to get more females involved in the industry, to show people the opportunities that are there. So we've sort of jumped on lots of the opportunities to publicise that way.
And let's face it, we do make up 50% of the population worldwide, and as a rule, we generally live longer than men, averagely by 5 to 7 years. So we all have to take control of our finances at some point.
Yeah.
I think it might be this year, 2023, the stats was 50%, more than 50% of UK millionaires will be female.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
it's music to my ears.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So speaking of trends in the industry, what are some trends that you're seeing in terms of investment right now? Where are people investing, or what are they interested in?
We're a bit boring when it comes to the investment stuff. We were actually chatting with some other Raymond James branch principals, and they're all about individual shares and all about fun. We're all about don't have all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So that's where we come from. Now, obviously, our investment analyst, Michael, does a lot more digging in depth to get all of this stuff. But ultimately, it's about having balance across the investments, and sometimes about not being too risk averse, sometimes not being too cavalier. So that's about marrying up how clients would be comfortable with doing with investing. I think we are seeing people who are more interested in it, more interested in understanding actually what's in my pension and what's going on. And before I just ticked the middle box, and I don't know actually what that meant. But to actually understand a bit more about the nuts and bolts of what's going on, I think we are seeing that a bit more.
Yeah. And we're also seeing clients who want their investments to reflect how they feel with regards to sustainability and green issues and governance and those sorts of things, social issues. And there are so many more options now available for that, which is really quite exciting. I really love that aspect of what we do. And they're even, there are some amazing funds that concentrate just on that. So, and pretty good ones as well. So it's nice to be able to diversify and add that element into our portfolios.
Yeah, I love reading your market insights. It's fabulous. It's so interesting. And that's the funny thing is, again, for somebody or for anybody that may not think or know or feel like they don't know about finance, actually... It is really fascinating, and there's so much to talk about, and it really doesn't have to be what people might think is boring. It's genuinely not. And like you said, when it's something that you're personally interested in, or the eco side of it, sustainability, all of that, it means more. Yeah. So I think there's just so much to it. I think it's brilliant.
Read somewhere that £100,000 spent invested in a green portfolio would reduce your carbon footprint more than turning vegan. Yeah, I don't know how true that is. I have read that somewhere.
Let's ask the vegan.
Oh, well, put me on the spot. But
compare it to your £100,000 portfolio. How we're doing.
Well, my £100,000 portfolio is doing fabulous, thank you. But no, I think you're probably right. One of the big things that I've been looking at in the last couple of years is, like cryptocurrencies, and we've got a lot of stuff going on in terms of like AI, and so much of that is server based. So if you're investing in, Bitcoin or sort of e-currencies, anything like that, and AI, like it's a huge server drain. Like so much energy goes into that, and and even things like if you're investing in oil or anything along those lines. You know, there is so much more carbon being put into the world through the choices, or even the companies that we're choosing. So yeah, I can definitely see that being a case. Yeah. Definitely going to go and do some research on that.
I know, she's looking at it now.
I know. Actually, my pension, thinking about it, does actually have a green fund that I keep, or like an ethical fund that I keep looking at, and I'm just like, really, I haven't done the research into it, but it's on my list of things to do.
You knew anyone to talk to about
that. Chat for later.
But I think that side of it though is something actually during lockdown. You know, we had a bit of an epiphany, or I suddenly thought actually our clients trust us to put them in the right the right things, and of course some clients did used to come and say actually this is an important thing to me, so that's where we want to start from. Now the choices are so much broader. Actually, it's an important thing to me. It's important to us. So actually, we can embed that in all of the investments that we do for clients, and as long as they're still the right investments for the clients and still producing what they want, they're going to be happy with that. So that was good that we could make that sort of decision and go actually, let's just lean that way and just make it happen because we can.
Amazing.
So how do you balance risk and reward in your investment strategies?
More technical. Wasn't expecting that on a Friday afternoon.
Not quite out the park there for you.
So how do we balance it? Everyone's different, so everyone's balance of risk and reward is different. So we have like a sliding scale, and we grade the clients when they come in to see us through a manner of different things, profiling tools. We can see if they are risk averse or risk tolerant, and we can balance the investments that way, and then we just mix up and create portfolios that lend themselves to that. So it's all very diverse. So we have like building blocks, and we can slot them in to see how they fit along that sliding scale for each individual client.
And sometimes I think that risk reward is about actually what risk do they need to take. And it's someone who is actually, we've had clients in their 20s and early 30s saying, I'm quite nervous of investing, or in fact parents who are investing in their junior ISAs saying, well, actually I don't mind taking risk in my money, but I don't want to risk the children's money. And that's then about educating to say, well, actually they've got 20 years.
It's the long game, isn't it?
It's the long game.
They can take more risk, and it makes so much more sense for them to take more risk, because just over that period, inflation, if you don't take risk with it, inflation will reduce its real value over time. So sometimes it's about that, and actually with clients, I think risk sometimes comes down to if they've not invested before, or they've not been aware of what their investments have been doing, because so many people will have a pension and it's just been there. They maybe get the statement but don't really pay any attention to it each year. When we're then managing it and giving them the information, suddenly it's sort of in their faces in terms of what happens. And of course, if something happens in the economy or around the world in terms of the war in Ukraine, energy crisis and so on, it will have an impact on what's going on. But we're able to be there to say, well, actually this is okay because this is how it works, and don't worry because this is just 1 year, or this is just a 6-month period, and you're in it for the long game, and you will get better, and actually we can already see these changes are happening, and it's getting there. So I think sometimes that question is just about somebody understanding how much risk they might think they don't want any risk, but it's important for them to have it, and then just understanding how it works. And I noticed a lot of clients who've been with us for quite a while, even with the turbulence of last year, were like, it's okay. I know where I started from, and I've still made money from that point. And we've had some dips along the way, but I know that it will recover from that. So that's a good thing, that they've then got that confidence that their investments, their pension will do what they need.
Exactly.
And what... Oh, both
we're about to talk at the same time then.
And where do you see the future of the business going? Like, what are your plans for the future, and how you can support your clients going on with their investments?
Well, I think it is about supporting clients almost, so in order to do that, we need to have more of us, if that makes sense, or have less of us in front of all of the clients. So we've got a number of the team who are developing their skills to move towards becoming wealth managers. Amazing. As well, and then we can then add additional layers of support there, so that essentially the nuts and bolts of the business will keep running, but we've got more people who can be sort of facing clients, and that's how the plan.
So expansion is coming.
It is.
Yes. We're already moving to bigger premises, so
exciting.
It's already in the pipeline.
Already happening. Yeah, we've got a number of the team who are on that path to becoming wealth managers. So that's really cool. Obviously, we've done that ourselves.
And it's great.
I went through that process. Faye,
and it's great that they're coming through organically. So they're already an integral part of our business before they're taking that next step. So they're bringing that culture through, as opposed to somebody who's coming in with all the qualifications who can do it already. They wouldn't be coming in with our culture, really, and I think that's important. Culture.
You're really investing in them, aren't you? And that's like, your team retention's amazing, isn't it? Like, a lot of your team have been with you for a long time, which I think is a testament to you both. So
yeah,
and about that area of flexibility and family. We'll look after them where we can. Obviously, a lot of stuff has happened to us, but also to members of the team over time, and what we can, anything we can do to support. Obviously, we do.
It's really important.
Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Gosh.
Business advice. We'll cut it down to business advice.
Best bit of business advice.
So I've got one. I'm not sure whether it's progress, not perfection. That's something that actually came from a personal trainer originally, but I think it's true in everything. We need to move forwards, but it's never a smooth journey. But as long as we've got that sort of focus on where we're going, then that's okay.
Love that.
Yeah,
definitely.
There we are. I had one.
Yeah, you did. That's completely made my brain blank now. It wasn't anywhere. It wasn't producing anything anyway. Do you know, I used to have a massive issue with paying taxes, and it used to make me really grumpy. But then our accountant did turn around and said, well, if you weren't paying that tax, then you wouldn't have all of that. It's not I know it doesn't feel good, but it's a good place. It's a good problem to have.
Yes.
So that's I'd say, because I always look after the financial side of what we do. That's probably it, really. Don't get so stressed out about that.
Yeah, it's definitely when you put a different spin on that one, because especially when you're run your own business or you're self-employed, and you see that all that tax come out in one giant lump every year, it can be quite but to know that you've worked hard enough, that you owe that fraction of it, actually that's really something to be quite damn proud of, isn't it?
That means that you're running a very strong, profitable business.
Absolutely.
So I've taken that, I look at it in a different light now.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's your why?
Oh, God, I wish you give us some warning about this. I've had a really hard week. Oh, my head. Why?
I've got one.
Go on then. Why are you beating me to
Susie's
it now?
got all the answers.
Well, mine comes back to family again, I would say. So, as I say, I work with, Dad for a number of years. We started as a very small business in pretty tough times, but stuck together through that. And then, being able to look back and see the business that we've built and the people that we now, to have a team of 10 people, is amazing that we've managed to build that. But it gives me the time to, we lost my dad a couple of years ago. My mum's just in the next town. I can go and see her if I need, whenever I need to see her. And I've got time to spend with Jen and all of our lovely cats. But you know, we've created, you know, we have created our life, and it's ours. So I think that's, you know, that's what makes it worthwhile.
And you managed to bring in so many people, like that family element, and you know, the fact that you've come into the company as well, Faye, and like the people that you care about most, you get to spend every day with, or at least be in the next town over from them. It's amazing.
I think for me then, my why would definitely be for my independence. So I think I spent many years not being my authentic self because I was in a family environment. So I've been looking after the kids, I was a wife and all of those things, and I never really did anything for myself. And I was always dependent on not just my own income, but income from the business, but other people's income. So actually for me, taking that step up and taking on the business with Susie when I did was definitely for my financial independence. So I could be the person that I knew I could be. I'd been a long time coming to that realisation that I needed to step up. But also I think it's important that my girls see that it's possible. If I'm doing it for anybody, it's for them to realise that they don't need to be sat underneath somebody else's shadow or rely on other people. They can absolutely go out and get it for themselves. And if they can see that from me, then that's me, job done.
I'm massively emotional about that one. Like, that's really hit me in the feels. Oh, gosh, what amazing answers. Well, let's lighten the mood just slightly before the end, because that was wonderfully beautiful. What is your best business accomplishment?
I'm just sat here talking about what we do. Sometimes I pinch myself every day on how we've, you know, especially from, I'd say the last 7 years of how our business has developed. And even people that we meet from Raymond James, they'll say, we can't believe how you've grown the business, how it's changed. And I'm just so proud of that. So yeah, just the fact that it's that we're here and that we've got this amazing business to talk about.
With your bestie.
With my bestie.
What is your favourite productivity hack?
Delegation.
Oh my God, that is my favourite response ever. That is
get minions.
Yeah.
Just got to get
soundbite
minions.
right there for you, Connor.
That one. When we get clips of this, that has to be one of them.
Definitely. That's it. And I'm going to show all of your team.
They know. They know.
No, they want us to now.
Yeah.
They get stuff done.
I've been fighting with them for like for holding files back from them for years. It's like as soon as I let go, it was like, oh right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's when I get the email saying, this is one for you, Penny.
I did warn you.
Love it. I'm all here for it. Trust me.
And finally, what's one thing that the internet doesn't know about each of you yet?
Ooh.
Well, thankfully, we grew up really before
Yes.
social media.
Ooh,
so
So a lot of the back.
so many things, many of which I probably can't remember.
No,
either,
no,
which is,
that would
which is
be it.
important.
Yeah, the years of finding ourselves, I call it.
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah, that's the one.
Never felt more true right
I
now.
think that's going on a poster in our new office. What does I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm very. You know,
That
I
I'm not
don't know we've got
interesting enough to
secrets.
know
No.
that. Really.
You're an open book.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No. Well, we've got big plans. Lots to do. Lots of places to see still.
Yeah.
You know. So lots of exploring to do.
Yeah.
And you're celebrating. It's a big anniversary year for you as besties this year as well, right? I think we were talking about that on your shoot the other month. You were talking about.
You're going to expect us to do the maths now and work backwards.
It's 35.
35 years. This year.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, don't expect a card.
Although you're going to be celebrating at a festival, I believe, aren't you, this summer?
Yes. So we've got Todd in the Hole coming up. in the summer.
Can't wait for that.
Which has been a really great festival to get involved in. So,
yeah, really good. Again,
we'll do a
supporting
little bit
a lovely local business, and it's a really fantastic community event as well. So
Amazing.
and I heard that they've got hot tubs this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Direct
putting
now.
that in my diary.
Business meeting in the hot tub.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it'd be really good fun. We've been before and it's amazing. So yeah.
Oh, I'm excited because it's going to be my first year attending,
You're
so
gonna love it.
I am very, very excited.
It's an amazing festival. I've played it a couple of times.
There you go.
It's a lovely festival.
Hidden talents.
When you say played,
I know. Tell us more.
yeah.
Guitar, sing. The acoustic buscus stage.
On the busker stage.
Oh, the
We
busker
love
stage.
that.
Love that.
That's my
'Cause
favourite
it's,
stage.
'cause it's just next to
awesome.
the
VIP
VIP
bar,
area
Yeah.
where we might be.
It's right between two bars.
That's it.
So
Yeah, it's
great.
perfect. Yeah.
So no one can see Connor right now because he's backstage producing this, but we
We will
definitely
have a
need.
camera for me at some point.
Yeah, we've told him he can't hide forever.
I feel a Connor episode coming
do.
along.
Connor is definitely
We
going to
need
have
to
an
know.
episode where he has to play for us.
We'll make it happen.
What has he let himself in for, poor boy? So, for anyone that is listening right now, how can they find out a little bit more information about you, about Raymond James, and how you could help them?
Yeah. Well, just by going online, you'll find us through most social channels. Thanks to you.
Yeah, they've got a really
on it.
good social presence right
Raymond
now.
James Hitchin. That's all you
Really
need to
good.
know.
Yeah, Raymond James Hitchin, and then if you put that into Google, you'll find us. There's a lovely website there at the moment, but it's due to be upgraded soon.
There is a
There's
new
so
one.
much going on in our world right now. So everything you need to know is on there. But yeah.
And drop us a message. Actually, Faye spoke to somebody this week who just wanted to find out a little bit more. So our door is always
If you're
open.
interested in learning about our industry, absolutely, our door's always open. So please get in touch.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you even a little bit more.
Thank you.
And really get under the skin of what Raymond James Hitchin is all about. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
No
for having us.
problem. Thank you.
Thank you.